Welcome to the Scouting Expedition podcast, courtesy of the Cascade Pacific Council of the Boy Scouts of America. This is more than just a podcast, it's an adventure cast. Here we'll share stories and insights about the lifelong adventure, real-world grit, and personal growth only found through scouting here in the Cascade Pacific Council. We'll have guests here indoors, but also head outdoors to meet those that make the Scouting Expedition come to life for thousands of local youth here in Northwest Oregon and Southwest Washington. Each episode will start with the latest news, reminders, and important deadlines for our families, scouts, leaders, and volunteers, so you can just take a quick listen or watch in a way that's convenient for you. Then we'll dive into the topic of the day. So let's get started.
Hello, and welcome to today's edition of the Scouting Expedition podcast. My name is Chris Bartel. I'm the Director of Marketing and Innovation here at the Cascade Pacific Council of the Boy Scouts of America. First, of course, we're going to go into the news piece here, because for those of us who are in the Cascade Pacific Council, they receive an email newsletter every week. And so what we'd like to do at the beginning of our podcast is give our folks an easy way to digest all of the great things that are going on here in the Cascade Pacific Council of the Boy Scouts of America. And so we basically cover a little news segment here from the weekly newsletter so that folks like you can just read or watch whatever you like and try and give you information in a way that you like to digest it, whether it's audio or video. And so here we basically are going over the latest news from the Compass Points email newsletter. So let's dive into it, shall we? Of course, we like to first start off every episode, as well as remind you to start off every scouting expedition with a safety moment. And you can find a ton of resources for safety moments. So this is our safety moment to remind you about safety moments and the resources you can get at scouting.org. There are literally more than 100 of these safety moments that they have posted here, that the Boy Scouts of America has posted for safety moments for your unit meetings or whatnot, and they are fantastic. They cover every single kind of event, activity you can absolutely imagine. It's a great resource, so check that out at scouting.org. All right, let's dive into the latest news here around the Cascade Pacific Council of the Boy Scouts of America. First of all, we want to mention, as we mentioned in the last podcast, we really teased it up here, is that we are starting up a new fall campaign here for to welcome new families into scouting. And did you know that September is National Preparedness Month? That's right. And we figured, we should really probably own that and run with that here in the Boy Scouts of America, since our motto is be prepared, and prepared for life is the slogan we like to use. And why not teach preparedness to our community? So what we have here is a new campaign that's going to be happening in September. But for those of you in the CPC, you will have received an email about not just this campaign, but also a fundraising opportunity for scout units and the 3 weeks of plug and play open house programs that have been developed with volunteers and with the council and our team here, and it's really going to be great. It's simple for you to be able to plug and play these fun programs around first aid and preparedness and tee up things like the 6 essentials and 10 essentials. So it's going to be really great. So check that out there in your Compass Points email newsletter. Another important item we want to remind folks as we kind of head into summer and whatnot, and all the activities, of course, we do here in the Boy Scouts of America, is that any adult who wants to attend these activities, overnight activities, you've got to be registered, you've got to complete youth protection training, and you need to have your criminal background check approved. So you've got to do that before you go on any outings that are overnight. And just know that this could take a while. It could take 5 business days up to 30 business days. So you can't wait till the last minute. You can't just show up at summer camp and go like, oh yeah, I guess I'll sign up as a member. You actually have to do it ahead of time. Unless you, of course, you're doing this with your own Cub Scout. There are some exceptions there if you're going on an overnight with your kiddos as Cub Scouts. And so that information, again, is in the email newsletter. A couple of save the dates we want to remind you of is that our council annual business meeting is on May 22nd. And it's going to be in person and online. Also, the Council Court of Honor is on June 9th at Oaks Park. Going to be a super fun event, kind of an open house where we're going to invite the community and have lots of activities. It's going to be a great time, as well as, of course, hand out all the awards that we do every year. We also want to let you know that there is a job opening here in the Cascade Pacific Council. If you want to help kids get outdoors, grow in grit, and become tomorrow's leaders, by golly, why not join us on our mission here? We need a part-time member support specialist there at the front desk and helping out with a variety of activities here in the council office. And so we do need this help as soon as possible. This is a job opening for anyone who wants to apply. And that information, you can actually send your resume to info@cpcbsa.org if you're the right fit and you're not actually a member of the Cascade Pacific Council and are not receiving our newsletter. That information is also on our website at cpcbsa.org. Another quick reminder is the Camp for All unit deadline to hit your goal is coming up here on May 31st. So if you want to receive a 5% discount or a 5% Scout Shop gift card on the amount that you've raised with your Scout unit for the Camp for All campaign, you can actually finish that campaign up by May 31st, and you'll receive that as well as a ribbon for your unit flag and free weekend camping at council camps. Fantastic opportunity to help kids get outdoors and get every Scout to camp with scholarships and things like that Camp for All supports. We also want to remind you of the Memorial Day flag placement, where we as Scouts and families and friends all have this amazing opportunity to plant 180,000 flags at the Willamette National Cemetery. It is just a wonderful, wonderful evening, and this year we want to remind you that it is actually happening on Friday. That's Friday, May 24th. Usually it's been happening on Thursdays, but this year it's on Friday, and that may change from here on out for a variety of reasons, but this is actually a 56-year tradition. So we just want to remind folks who have been doing this with us for years and years, if not decades, that it is happening on Friday instead of Thursday. We also want to remind you that camp work weekends are underway at a variety of camps. If you're interested in swinging a hammer and helping out at our camps, there are a variety of those happening before we head into summer camp. One of the fun things we have ongoing is our climbing committee is having climbing days, indoor and outdoor. These are fantastic opportunities to learn about climbing in knots and how to create a safe climbing activity for your Scout unit, whether you're in Cub Scouts or Scouts BSA. And we just want to thank the climbing committee for doing this for us and for doing this for our members. They're really passionate, and they'll teach you how to do this safely and have a heck of a lot of fun. We also want to let you know about Camp Cooper is having an insect study. That's right, Camp Cooper is a beacon of biodiversity. And so we're doing a study here about bugs of all things. There have been studies done on plants and birds there at Camp Cooper, but now it's all about bugs. And so you can reach out to our ranger there, Aaron Yoder, and he'll give you all the information. Great time to go out there and go camping with your Scout unit and be a part of this insect study. Here's another fun thing that's happening at another camp. It is actually and here is a fun new activity that's happening at Camp Pioneer at the end of summer on August 12th through 16th. It is called Throne Quest. It is the Cascade Chronicles Throne Quest. It is going to be all about tabletop gaming, role-playing games, trading card games, and more, as well as a live-action Throne Quest adventure. It is going to be a hoot, and we're jokingly calling it Geek Week, where you can play games and have a lot of fun, as well as work with a patrol to have a quest for the throne. It is a fantastic opportunity. You can see that on the website as well. Some training events we want to remind you of is that if you're interested in starting a fishing program in your Scout unit, we have an angling educator training happening on May 18th. And this is a great opportunity to learn fishing skills, how to run fishing activities and whatnot for your Scout unit or your district or council events. And it's a great opportunity. It's, again, happening on May 18th from 8 a.m. to 1 p.m. And here's a fantastic training opportunity for youth ages 13 and up. It is called National Youth Leadership Training. This is an incredible course, and you actually have 3 weeks you can choose from June, July, or August. It's all happening at Camp Baldwin. These are week-long trainings that are adult-level, career-level training about leadership. It is fantastic. It is super fun, and you can find out all about that, as well as see some great videos on our website at cpcbsa.org/NYLT, and you'll be able to hear more about just the impact that NYLT, National Youth Leadership Training, has on our Scouts. We also want to let you know about the upcoming wilderness first aid courses that are available for youth 14 and up and adults. This is an awesome opportunity to learn how to be prepared for the great outdoors with hands-on training that meets BSA requirements, and they can modify the classes for your needs, for your upcoming adventures. There are 2 opportunities and 2 weekends happening in June, so check that out. We also have a fantastic opportunity for families for family camping. Reservations are now open at Camp Clark, and you can actually reserve spaces between Memorial Day and Labor Day. Just a wonderful, beautiful place to have pretty much a private beach for you and your family, and there are tide pools, and it's in the forest. Oh my gosh, it's so beautiful there, and you will absolutely love it. A great opportunity to go camping there with your family. Some other partner events we want to let you know about is that in May, we have the Alaska Airlines Aviation Day happening on May 11th. We also have a Scout Night with the Hillsboro Hops happening on May 24th. We have another baseball opportunity, the Volcanoes versus the Senators. This is the Mavericks League. They are having a couple of Scout Nights on June 28th and August 9th. Also, the Portland Timbers are going to have our first ever Scout Night with the Portland Timbers. That's happening on August 24th. That's going to be a fantastic time, and we're actually going to be working with them to announce our National Preparedness Month event and campaign. So that's going to be really, really fun. And that's it for the news update for today. Let's start the show. Well, thanks for joining us today, everybody. And today we have the Diankoff family. I'm super excited to, everybody wave, say hi. Awesome. I'm super excited to have them here. Kaeley is one of our scholarship winners for the Eagle Scout Scholarship. She was actually the top winner this year. Very exciting.
Yes, very exciting.
Very exciting. Well, welcome, everybody. How about you all introduce yourselves and tell me a little bit. First, let's talk about where you're from and how the heck did you get into scouting?
Sure. I'm Lisa. And I was a Girl Scout. My mom was a leader for both my sister and I, and I also had my girls in scouting since they were little. I have two girls, and then my son, when he started, we got into Boy Scouts, which was my first exposure to Boy Scouts because we were only girls in the family. And my daughter, especially my youngest, was very much excited about the path that Boy Scouts was taking my son on, and she wanted to participate as much as she could when they let her, and so we've always been in Scouts and have enjoyed it. Great experiences.
Well, I'm Kaeley, and I particularly remember sitting down in my brother's scouting meetings, hanging out with the girls in the back, and we would have like these little like design sketch pads, and we would like put clothes on the women, and then we'd also like look at the meetings and play games. But I think I mostly remembered like the car races. Those were so fun. And then hearing my dad and my brother make these cars and have them race, that was super fun.
Pinewood Derby, I remember.
Yeah, I think that was what initially got me hooked.
Yeah.
Was just the community I saw there.
Yeah, the camaraderie, putting things together.
Yeah.
And then so introduce yourself, and were you in Scouts?
I'm Peter Diankoff. I was into Explorers with the LAPD at the time. I was very young, and I wanted to. My dad gave me a hard time about joining stuff, and so I just went off on my own. And I wanted to get into Boy Scouts. It was something that didn't quite go well with the family, so it was just always other leadership roles and things like that, and just an influence with electronics and getting involved in the community and other things. I was always interested and curious about technology and marketing, advertising. So it's kind of funny that you do this stuff now. And I did really well with graphic design and art and things like that. So you touch upon a little bit of everything. Your kids are there. You're just kind of distilling this information and showing them how to do things, and they're learning with you. And it's just stuff they pick up eventually. You know, being a handyman around the house, maybe picking up, hey, I could do this. And my daughter would always come up to me. Kaeley would come up to me and just say, how does this work, or what are you doing? How are you fixing this socket or the electrical on the wall? And show me, this is a screwdriver, this is a wrench, this is a Phillips screwdriver, this is a flathead screwdriver. She's just very interested and wanted to pick up and start doing things on her own too. So it's kind of fun growing up with the kids. Three of them.
Yeah,
And Kaeley
she's
just kind of
baby.
took off.
Okay, so you were born here then, or were you guys in California? Is that right?
We're Californians.
So you start Scouts then in California?
Yeah, so I started in Scouts. I was initially going to join Ventures when I came of age, but right when that happened, Scouts of America decided women could join the program. And I actually already knew a lot of the boys in Scouts because I was so close to them growing up. So I already knew the troop I would join, and I had some friends who joined me, and we created our own troop. There was only 3 of us, so our patrol name was the 3 Musketeers, of course. So that was pretty fun. And then we just started from there, and we started from scratch. So we made like our banners, and I actually was not able to go to a scout camp because COVID actually hit so fast after. But yeah.
Right. So So COVID hits, and then what did you guys do then? What did you guys do during COVID? Like, how did you guys handle that?
So the majority of it we decided to have online. So we created Zoom. We used, I think, FaceTime as well. And we did a lot of like community service things. We would like print out color sheets, and we would color them and put a little note on them and send them off to, maybe hospitals or charities for younger kids, or even sometimes we did like police people. We had fun little flags and stuff that we colored.
And then they would do outside activities.
Yeah.
They would meet at parks and stuff, so they could still see each other but be in distance.
Yeah, we had to wear masks. I remember we did our one of the hikes during COVID, and it wasn't really a hike. We just walked around the neighborhood.
And when did you guys move up here then?
During COVID, so it was fortunate. So she was able to still keep in touch with the kids down in California, but at the same time start life here. And then she found Troop through looking online.
Yeah, I could not wait.
And so then she did both, the one from California and Washington at the same time.
I think it was Balboa.
But she also
Chapter,
was in Girl Scouts at the same time.
Yeah.
So she found a troop out here too, and she had her troop in LA. So she was in 4 troops at one time.
Just kind of blend together.
Yeah, I mean, like they all provided their own
little
thing,
and then also the fact with COVID, it was still easy to manage that part of it. Still keep all the relationships because you were home all the time.
Yeah.
But it got definitely more difficult as COVID opened up, and
COVID wasn't completely negative. There's some positive things that came out of
no,
COVID. Being able to be remote even, and with the colleges and stuff, or getting work done and through Girl Scouts and Boy Scouts.
What I enjoyed was I actually got to see her participate in her high school classes and stuff like that, and hear the teachers while I was working.
Oh my goodness.
That was, interesting
I particularly remember being on a Zoom meeting, and this was when I was in California, because I was actually
going to school here.
Going to school here, but in California before we moved. And I remember having our fireplace in the back, and then somebody asked me, "Oh, that's a nice fireplace." And I'm like, "Yeah, it's in California." Or like, and they're like, "You're in California?" And I was like, "Yeah."
And then, no, what was worse is that it was raining here, and we had like sunny shining.
Yeah.
And she showed the backyard.
Oh yeah.
I'm like, don't make them feel bad.
That is impressive. So 4 scout units you're involved with. Wait, 4 plus Girl Scouts, or was it?
That was 4
altogether.
total.
2 and 2 because 2
Girl
up here.
Scout troops and 2 Boy Scout troops.
Oh my gosh.
And again, it was Balboa Oaks was for the Boy Scouts.
Yeah.
And like here is the Cascade chapter.
Yeah.
So it's
awesome.
Yeah, and then she would bounce to California for the summers, and we wouldn't see her at all, because she would be involved with the troops there.
Or NYLT. NYLT, and what was the other one? It was a Emerald Bay, Catalina Island. And just coordinating. I remember trying to have she just did so much on her own. She would coordinate these trips.
The NYLT, actually, she went and participated, and she really loved it, so she wanted to be the leader the next year, and that's when COVID hit, so they had to delay till the year after, when that's when we already moved. So we made it so that she could get there, and she did some Zoom classes with them and try to keep up with the pace, but they had to do like a modification for you.
Yeah, I missed a lot.
Yeah.
Well, but you still had to go through the binder and see like pages of
But then, so
information.
when she was at the NMLT, they were still looking for counselors for Emerald Bay to help out because of COVID, they were short-staffed.
And there's a lot of ups and downs through all this, and she just, I remember her troop, she just went through it all. She just, no matter what, nothing kind of held Kaeley back. Kaeley, when she's determined, she will keep going. I think all of us do that. We just all persevere, and we get through whatever we can.
But she was only supposed to be in California for a couple of weeks, and she ended up staying the whole summer.
Well, yeah, because I initially only went for NYLT, and then they were like, Emerald Bay, and I'm like, Emerald Bay? whoa.
That was the second one.
And so I went to go work over there very last minute, super underprepared for my clothes.
Well, because
I was only planning to stay there for I think 2 weeks.
Yeah.
So there was like a mentorship program that for younger staff would go to, but I didn't have enough time to do that, so I was put into already in another station. But I ended up staying much longer because I loved it so much. And the funny thing was that this was my first summer camp experience because COVID had cut that off from me. So I worked my first summer camp.
And really, wow.
At Old Bay, yeah. That was my first summer camp. And then I actually had my real participation summer camp with my LA troop. We went to Bighorn in California, and that was pretty fun.
Wow. Okay, so then you eventually moved up here, and you joined a troop here. Mm-hmm. And what was different? What's it like scouting up here versus down there?
Yeah, I think a lot of it, when I was in California, I was just starting out as a scout, so a lot of it was initial, we're making our banners, we're learning what Scouts is like, and all these merit badges and requirements, and kind of just figuring out and understanding how this program worked. But after COVID, and then I moved over here, I kind of knew all these things already, so I didn't feel like fresh meat, and I kind of understood the process and was able to transition much easier. I will say, like, one thing was I was so connected with the boys in my old troop that it was hard coming up here and and being in such a bigger troop too, and kind of feeling a little bit of a disconnect because it was so big. I couldn't talk to other boys, or like the girls were small, so that was easy, but I couldn't, talk with them.
And what's it been like being a girl and a largely boy troop?
Yeah,
what's that experience been like for you?
It's kind of interesting. I don't know, because in my old troop, I kind of felt very, what's the word? Like
I'm not going to say tomboy, but she gets along because.
Well, yeah, but I mean, like I felt like my old troop, we were like really blended in, and there wasn't any difference.
Yeah.
And our genders, we were just all scouts.
You do
what
the boys do.
But I feel like when I moved up here, it felt a little more separated, just because there was such a massive amount of boy patrols, and then there's only 2 girl patrols. So I think I felt definitely more of a divide. So
I think also she had relationships with the kids at her old troop before Scouts.
Correct. Yeah.
So she knew them, and versus this was Scouts and just getting to know people. So,
new people.
Yeah.
And what did you guys do in terms of, for the girls, for your girl patrols? What did you plan things differently? How did you sort of set that up?
Because in California, we were more involved with each other. Like, we did things all together. But I think when COVID happened, we started to divide more, and we did things more as a troop, more the girl troop, let's go do this. So I think that was a big factor over there. But when I moved over here, I feel like a lot of the activities I do in my new troop are all together. There's no like particular like, you guys are the boys troop, you are the girls troop, we're going to be separate, we're going to go do our own community service, our own camping, and this and that. It wasn't really any of that.
Okay, and I see like a plethora of merit badges here. So how many of have you actually earned in total?
Yeah, I think about it. It's 49. 49?
I think so. I think it's 49. She's like, she actually earned more, but she's misplaced blue cards.
Well,
and I've been telling her to reach out to people to get them because she's one away from her.
Look for old emails.
It's because it was
letters.
This was all like all the merit badges I earned were like right during the COVID, and those were all the ones that got lost. So
in the move, I know. Yeah, I'm pretty sure there's one if I could find it in some box.
What were some of the hard ones? What were some of the easy ones? What are some that really maybe impacted you?
So I think one of the best ones I took was life-saving when I went to Bighorn. I actually could not stay the full width because I was having a Girl Scout trip, our final trip. So I left. I had to leave early, but this team, these people helped me get through the life-saving merit badge so quickly and so fast. I would like come in during free session, and we'd get right onto it and complete it. And I just felt super honored to have people like this. Like, I had worked at a summer camp, so I understood, how hard and difficult it is to, spare time to help Scouts. So So it was very nice of them to help me out in that place. Yeah.
What have been some of the, I guess, more arduous, more difficult ones, if you will?
Well, her last summer camp, I went with her, which I normally
Before I
don't
turned
go to
18,
camp.
I made her come because she
I hate,
hadn't come
like
to
sleeping
any
on
of my
the
camps. But I took a fly fishing class, and it was a dual one. It was fly fishing and fishing merit badge together. And they said, if you catch a fish with a fly fishing rod, that'll count for both the merit badges. So I don't know much. I've lived in a family that loves to fish, but I am no fisher. So I think it was 2 nights we woke up super early. Where was
I know, it was long days.
We oh my goodness. I would make my mom wake up at like 4 a.m. before the camp even started, just so that we could get like the nice hour where the flyers are going and the fish are out. To catch this fish, I'd have to go, and this and this and that.
And then, of course, it kept on getting stuck.
Yeah, it kept getting stuck, and we
so
lost
I would have
flies.
to fish it out of the whatever it got stuck of.
Oh my goodness. And I think it was like within like my last try, like
It
the
was
last
right
hour.
before we were going to be leaving.
Yeah, right before we were leaving, I finally caught a fish.
Oh, wow.
It wasn't a big fish, but it was a fish.
It counted, right?
Counted.
And I just, as soon as I caught it, my hand was on it, and I screamed,
cried.
I hate fly fishing!
But now
And
you were
she was crying. I have it all on
Yeah, I
video.
was crying too. I took a lot of difficult merit badges, but oh my goodness, this one was unbelievable.
Yeah, well, she also challenged herself with, she did, what, 9
9 merit badges in 1 week, yeah.
So eventually, not just a fisher, you became a fisher scout.
9 merit badges in 1 week.
Well, I was like, it's my last summer camp. You know, I might as well get as much as I want done. And I worked at a summer camp before, so I kind of knew you could get merit badges, you know, smaller
Free time.
ones done during your free session. So every free session, I would just go to an easy merit badge that I knew, and I would get it done.
And
Okay,
then
so
what
no
was it?
slacking people. That's, you know, these
Yeah,
3 merit
well,
badges
even
for summer
that,
camp.
the canoeing one or
Yeah,
whatever.
yeah, oh
There-
my god.
So, go ahead.
It's okay to wake your parents up really early in the morning.
Yeah, so, I guess, so for the waterfront, there was rowing and kayaking. And I got the kayaking done, I don't think I actually had this as a session, this was an extra.
This was extra.
This was extra, and I asked if I could do it. I also, like, prepared a lot of it beforehand, like the written things and lecture, just so I could, you know, get the actual physical things done. So I did the kayaking, and then after that, I asked him, the merit badge counselor, could I do the rowing with, maybe like invite some of my friends to join me, because you know it's rowing, you can have multiple people. And he was like, I don't know if this will work, because they needed, you know, people. But
yeah, so then we begged all the parents
Yeah,
to come
yeah.
help and watch, and she ended up getting it.
Yeah.
But
was
last
fun.
minute too.
yeah, very last minute.
Well, that's actually a good pro tip, though. So for summer camp, you got to prep. If you prep a bunch of,
I
do a lot of work
know.
up front.
I was telling a lot of the people on the trip with me, you know, if you can get these merit badges done during free session, you don't have to just be limited to the 3 you choose. You can go and use those free sessions.
Yeah, you got a few of the kids to do that.
I did.
yeah.
I actually did. I got a couple of them to do like basket. A lot of the craft merit badges are super simple to get done, and you can even like take it back and do it overnight or something, because a lot of it's just making baskets with the supplies, or you know, a lot of it you can definitely do. It's not something difficult. You just need to spend the time on it.
And we know all the scouts work really well together, so you guys all had a good time.
Yeah.
It was really neat.
Well, Peter, you
Brothers
talked
and
about,
sisters.
mentioned perseverance, as I like to say, grit,
Yeah.
right? That
Yeah, that's
resilience.
right.
And so tell me, what have you seen in Kaeley? What have you seen her do? Has she changed at all? What's this experience been like?
It's hard to describe.
for you?
There's just so much growth in watching your kids start with something small and then just making it their own and having the passion. She's definitely, it's like trying to find one thing, and I think that's a good sum of it was that summer camp. She just put it all, that's a culmination of a lot of the stuff that she learned over the years and just went out and did so much and said, there's no limit, but I've got to push myself harder to get to this. And no matter how many times she maybe didn't get to where she wanted to be, she just kept pushing until she did. And I think that's a really important thing for, I think, all our scouts, just to know, whether you're a boy, girl, whatever, you go out there. The leaders learn that. They go out there and they help these kids go and do these amazing things, these feats, these little feats, these adventures. I think the big difference between LA and here is we've had more to do. Oh, yeah. We've had, I think the Pacific Northwest is just grander. I think you have more choices and options to go camping and doing.
I feel like part of it was because COVID had hit so fast before we were even like really settling into our journey that we didn't have those opportunities to really expand and understand what things we had in California.
Yeah, but I think they're more outgoing.
Well, you guys also have a lot of nice trees and water. California's a little dry
and hot.
Yeah.
I think parents get it when you see your kids are like they join a sport, or you have them in literally like with Riley or one of our kids, or you have your daughter in soccer or something, or different things, softball, and you just see them take off from there, and they build that. You see that stamina, the perseverance, I felt like I didn't have a good game, and then later on realizing, you learn from that and you did better the next time. And just, little by little. Writing skills, being able to talk with people, communication has been so important.
Well, I think it's the most fun, when you're able to think about what you've done and say, oh my goodness, throughout all this difficulty, I was able to accomplish something so wonderful. I think that was especially for the summer camp. I couldn't believe I earned my bear badges. I think some of them weren't even planned to get earned, and they just happened to fit my plan. But then also my Eagle project was very, I didn't even know if I'd be able to do it. I kept going back and forth and being like, is this even possible?
I was very nervous.
Well, she's not. Tell us about what was the plan, absolutely. And did you have to? So many kids had to pivot during COVID. It was all these Eagles that I talked to. They all had to change so much. So tell me more about your project.
Well, actually, I was pretty close to Life Scout when COVID hit. So because of COVID, my Life Scout journey was so long because I couldn't really find the resources or the energy, I guess, to get on to finish that.
I think also moving
out that too.
But you didn't exactly pick.
But I had already thought of ideas for my project by then because it had been such a long process, and I knew I wanted to do something that helped the people. I initially wanted to do something for the homeless, but I was guided against it just because of how difficult that can be. So I ended up settling on emergency kits for my high school. This was right around when there was a lot of school shootings, and I really want to do something in the medical field. So I figured, well, if my school doesn't have emergency kits for each of their classroom, that's something I can contrip to help them be more emergency prepared.
And I was like, oh my God, that's
going to
be a lot of work.
My initial plan was to make 27 of them, because that's how many classes I remember discussing. And I went to go tell this to my Eagle Scout mentor, and he was like, 27? I think you should drop it 10, 17, maybe 12.
Well, I was like, can't you pick a different kind of
project? That's what I was going to say. I was going to go back and say, you had all these options, and most scouts do have these things to go and do and pick an Eagle project. And you decided to pick one that wasn't as easy, or it was more of a challenge, but you pooled your resources together.
I think the most important thing is that if you're going to be doing this project, don't just do it to get it done. Pick something that you'll love, that you'll enjoy doing. And for me, I didn't want to go make a bench or make something out of materials because that was not something that I was passionate about. So I wanted to make something that was medical oriented, that just happened to be...
it wasn't something you settled on. It was something that was well thought out.
Yeah.
You did think.
I think that's the most important thing when choosing your project, is making sure.
Tell me some of the other things. What have you learned throughout sort of this process?
I think one of the hugest things was it was super hard because I had chosen such a weird project, I guess you could say.
Well thought.
It had you had to get buckets from Lowe's.
I went everywhere, but it was such an interesting project to choose because I couldn't just ask other Eagle Scouts what they did, because a lot of what I was doing was brand new to a lot of the people I knew. So I figured out I needed an IEN number.
Oh, yeah,
Whatever.
sorry.
Tax number. I needed this number. I was like, what is this? Why do I need this? Where am I going to get it? So I ended up finding...
And it was during the summer.
Yeah, it was during the summer. It was just, all these different things popped up, and it was kind of hard, like, what companies do you contact to get these donations? And are they going to reply? Are they not going to reply? You know, how much do you push to get a reply? It's like all these different things trying to figure out who could support me. And that was super difficult. So I think the main thing I really learned was just continuously trying, no matter what the odds are, because like I said, a lot of it was kind of unknown. We didn't know if this was going to work out. We didn't know if this company was going to respond, or who we could really rely on. And I think just by pushing and continuing to try, I was able to complete this project.
You started somewhere.
I did. Yeah, it was a total
cool.
mess at the beginning. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, well, we got a lot of advice at that summer camp too, because I was asking all the leaders, because this was my first experience, because my son did not go to Eagle, and I was a Girl Scout, so so I'm like, okay, what do we do? Because she's got this project.
Yeah, and you thought of a first aid kit that wasn't just a first aid kit.
No,
you thought of things that were, like blankets
and
some supplies and water and things that go into it.
Stuff.
And maybe using, exactly, and using the buckets for another purpose.
We used a lot of resources. I contacted a lot of grocery stores, like Chuck's and the Grocery Outlet, even like Target. They all really came in. Oh, and New Seasons. We just had this new one built in downtown Vancouver. And they gave me $200. I was like, whoa, that's crazy.
a lot of support.
Yeah, and then also trying to figure out what type of food we could do,
that
because
would last.
We had to do something that could last. That was
not allergies.
Yeah, allergies too. That was a hard thing, was allergies, because a lot of the non-perishable foods like peanuts are what are the other things?
Dry goods.
A lot of like gluten allergies. A lot of those type of jerky. Like that's kind of hard to accommodate a classroom
and
size.
Dates. You had a list of everything that would have to expire that you would have to rotate. Plus, you thought about the radios. You thought of radios.
So because some of the resources we couldn't really get from companies nearby, I ended up setting up an Amazon wish list where people I knew could donate and help us with this project, and I think that's what really came through for me. In the end,
we also use Nextdoor app.
That too, we ended up advertising it on social media, and I went to a lot of school functions and advertised for the PTSA and at school to get some help.
That's
and
pretty
then,
neat.
she also was part of the Key Club at her high school.
Yeah, oh my goodness. So when we actually had our day to put all the kits together, I had told my Key Club, and this was like, I had scheduled it so it'd be right after one of the meetings of Key Club, so that if they wanted to come and help, they could. And I think we had like
35 people.
35 people.
Such a response.
It was such a huge amount.
We had no idea.
But she had to, guide. And she did it.
Yeah.
She knew how to get. She got the message out. She didn't know what the result was going to be, and then she got to feed them too.
Well, that's what I ended up having to run to get pizza, because there were so many. I'm like, I was expecting 15, 10.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Yeah.
Such a great turnout, and the kids were great, and they all worked well together. You know, so many of them. And
it was done really quickly.
Yeah.
Like, all the buckets were done.
And then they also had to go up and down the stairs.
Yeah, and then they went up. That was done.
To deliver to all these 27. She ended up getting 27.
Well, the thing is that I thought there were 27 classrooms, but it turns out there was actually much fewer. So we ended up putting some extra buckets into like the office, to like the staff room, and other places that might need them. So it actually ended up being more than just the classrooms and other staff facilities, which I thought was actually quite nice. You
talked to the principal, I think it was about a year ahead, right?
I think it was probably the year I was there, or the year after, is when I said, I want to do this project. Can I do it? Is this a possibility? And he was like, go for it.
A lot of preparation.
So,
but then she got busy with college classes.
I joined Running Start, and that just was so difficult to try to manage everything. So I ended up just. All right. I think it was like that summer of my 18th birthday. I just was like, this is getting done. I'm not waiting. I'm not going to let this slide. I've been working on it. I've been thinking about it. I'm just going to do it. So I ended up, I had even done the proposal and things like previous summers, but it just finally that summer I was like, everything's done, submitted. I'm going to start this project. I'm going to contact companies.
Your leaders have been very supportive of all your
Yeah.
ideas and thoughts, and they've come in and helped you out. You've also had, I think there's just a lot of heart in the community, and not
There
just
is.
that, but in her troop. Her
Yeah,
troop really
yeah.
pulled
Yeah,
through.
everybody. That was one of the biggest things. Was
Yeah, that's
how,
true. Yeah.
You have a passion,
yeah.
and to see everybody else say, that's a great idea. We want to help.
Yeah.
We want to do that.
And then the other fun thing was trying to get the board review done
Oh, yeah.
before the due date of the Eagle
Yeah.
Scholarship.
Mhm.
And then we got snowed in.
Yeah. Yeah, she had flown down to be there, but because of the snow, she had to go back.
Yeah, because I'm helping my mother-in-law with some
Oh, yeah. We've got a lot going on.
Yeah.
It's so funny.
So I was actually on
Yeah.
a computer screen
Mhm.
for her board review.
I said, I'm going to bring a computer. We'll just do this online. You're going to be there. One way or another, we're going to find a way to be there.
Yeah.
Yep.
Lots of teamwork around
Absolutely.
around the horn with the
Absolutely.
troop
She's-
and with family
Yeah.
and everybody helping each other out.
I want to
working
say
together.
we're very
That's great.
supportive of Kaeley, but she's also very supportive too.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
just kind of, it all works around, and you see
Yeah.
all these kids do amazing things.
What else have you learned, in not just with the Eagle Project, because that's a big task, of course, but just kind of in general? Like, I'll ask you first. What have you learned, and then I'd love to hear from the parental units here. What do you think? How has she evolved and changed and whatnot through the scouting process?
Yeah, I think one of the hugest things was being able to work at the summer camps. I think that changed me a lot because I was super young. I hadn't really gone to a summer camp before, so I was kind of just thrown right into everything all at once, basically. And I think like the hugest thing was, learning. I learned new merit badges, but also connecting with people from all parts of the world, in the States, but then also trying to communicate with younger scouts I found was increasingly difficult because it's like you have to teach differently depending on who you're teaching. Like a lot of the older scouts, they're more mature, so you can teach them and they'll respect you, but you kind of have to earn it with the little ones because they want to have fun, they want to, know this material and have a great experience. And I think that was one of the hugest things I learned was being able to interact with and understand different perspectives and things like that.
And what do you guys think that she has learned, or what have you sort of seen in her since throughout scouting?
It's tough to just pick like one thing or one moment, but you see your kids grow, and I think you identify and see what they go after as a kid, and you hope that they stay with that. And I think one of the things Kaeley has picked up is throughout whatever she's tried to do is determination. I mean, just watch her and say, I want to be a cardiologist. I want to be a doctor. And then eventually just kind of get steered. And you think she's going to make a few different changes and maybe not end up wanting to be a doctor. In this case, she did kind of go into the medical field, but she decided to become, can I say?
Yeah, go ahead.
Coroner.
Well, forensic
pathologist. Right?
Forensic
pathologist.
There we go.
Wow.
There we go.
That is a unique choice. That is for sure. And how did you make that choice?
Well, I was kind of being torn with, because I wanted to be a cardiologist. I had, ever since I was elementary school. But the thing I was like conflicted about is that I wanted to be available. I wanted to support my community. I wanted to travel. I wanted to learn other things. And I felt that being a cardiologist, although it's such a great career, would limit me to what I could do because of the demanding hours and what's required of them. So kind of in this mindset, I went to Hawaii and I met my one of my cousins. He has a farm over there, and he told me about his job. He is a forensic pathologist, and he told me if I could if I could turn his composter, which he throws he kills mongooses because they kill the chickens. He said if I could turn this composter, stir it up a little bit, and I would be okay. He said you could probably be a forensic pathologist. And sure enough.
And so he actually let her participate with him once she turned 18. So she's done 7.
7. Yeah.
She survived.
Yeah, and she
Yes,
survived.
I survived.
Well, at that point, you just know, wow, I've got a passion for this. I just want to keep going.
Yeah.
So, Mom, what have you seen? How have you seen Kaeley?
Well,
evolve?
I mean, I have 3 children, and Kaeley has, it's amazing what Scouts has done for her. I see the independence because I was so busy with the kids and supporting the house and all that stuff, but she's really learned to be independent and resourceful. And then the challenge that she likes to give herself, she never takes on. Nothing is as simple for her. She has to always make it the hardest possible. But I think that's great because then she really appreciates what she gets out of it at the end.
Mm-hmm. The most challenging. I don't know if it's the word's hard, but she chooses challenging things to do, and she does it everything from cooking. She'll come up and say, I want to make a tiramisu. I've never made a tiramisu. I don't know if I did it come out right, but Kaeley has this way of making the chemistry work and then cooks it and it comes out. This is your first try? And I'm like, what? This is amazing.
Speaking of some fun things, what have been some of your favorite adventures?
Well, I guess we just did the sea-based Bahamas. It feels like it was just now, but it was
a year ago.
During spring break we did sea-based Bahamas. That was my first high adventure. I had wanted to do more high adventure, but it was just hard fitting it into my schedule. But that was super amazing to be on this boat in the middle of nowhere, to be able to dive into the water and see like sunken boats and things, or like coral reefs and see the animal life. Like there was this turtle, I think it was named Terry, and he would just always be around us. It was so funny.
And I was terrified of that.
Yeah, she was.
I was hoping she wouldn't see it.
I had gone to a meeting and they said sea-based Bahamas, and I was like, sea-based Bahamas?
Like, darn it. Because normally I send her things, but that one I kind of hid.
Yeah. I'm super glad I went. That was such an amazing trip.
But I couldn't wait till she was back on land.
Yeah, she could not.
Yeah.
Oh my god, I had like this really bad tan because I had worked at the summer camp in California, so super hot during summer. I tan, and I had such this very olive dark tan.
And you had the sock feet.
Oh, and I had the sock feet because a lot of summer camps you wear long socks. So I had like a tan here, and then a tan for my shorts, and then a tan for my socks. So I was little locks of tan.
That's great.
Yeah.
Did really well.
I think what was cool about the summer camp though is that that first year, she actually made the program for these young kids.
Yeah, for NYLT, we were the pilot course for all NYLTs, I guess, all over, really. So that was super amazing to be able to run this, test this pilot course to give to all these other NYLTs who would adopt it and make a great program out of it. Because NYLT for me, at least in California, was such a great opportunity, so much fun. Yeah, I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, she wanted to do it all 3 years.
I did.
But
it was too hard.
But she did too. You did too.
Yeah, it was hard because the third year I had now started doing full-on running start. Because initially I had just done a couple of college classes with my high school, but I'd been full-on college then, and that was super difficult
because school in California ends earlier.
Yeah.
So she actually had to finish her stuff in Washington early and work with the teachers so that she could go to the camp. So
And for those who don't know, NYLT is National Youth Leadership Training, and it's basically an adult level training experience that's actually run by and for youth, right?
For youth, correct? Yeah.
And so, tell me a little bit more about that experience. About what are you trying to teach the younger scouts and whatnot?
Well, a lot of it's like leadership and being able to work with each other to create solutions. Like we have a lot of games that make you work with your teammates, even though they might be difficult. And then there's a lot of lectures as well talking about how you can be a good communicator, or be able to do speeches, or problem solve. And a lot of it is like you're basically in your own patrols. And then at the end of this journey, they award like the Hatchet Award to for me it was at least 2 patrols that got it, because we had to be split into like a red and a blue team. And this was like the troop that had the most leadership involvement, or like they showed the most of the values that were there. But I personally really loved it. Not as just I met so many people, but not as just like a participant, but actually being able to work even though like long hours trying to prepare for this, it was really nice seeing how everything came together and seeing everybody enjoy it.
That's great. Well, it sounds like you've had quite the experience in scouting. You've had some incredible leadership opportunities and great adventures, and you have seen her grow and blossom, and it's really
all
impressive.
these activities are keeping our kids busy.
That's the only way I have it.
Yeah. Yeah, and then she's looking forward to doing venturing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they go to 21 then, my husband.
Coming back,
So
being there for the scouts.
And then I think she's enjoying working with the kids now because she's now an adult
giving
leader.
back.
I think that's my favorite thing is working with the younger kids because it's kind of cool to see yourself in them and that, I used to be here, I used to not know and just starting to learn. It's fun seeing them make connections and picking up things.
It doesn't matter, like if you have 20, 30, or 100 patches. It's just there's no patch I can define. There's so many things, experiences that don't culminate in patches, but every scout, I think all of us.
I think that's the best thing about Scouts is that you can make your own unique journey in Scouts. There's so many opportunities and different directions you can go, and you can
make it up in other ways too, and giving back.
There's like not just like one way for Scouts.
That's great. I was going to ask, what if you were to tell somebody why they should join Scouts? And you just kind of said it.
Yeah.
What if, as parents, one of the things that we talk about is there's so many parents out there who don't have any experience with scouting. Or maybe, Grandpa did scouting, I think. So, what would you parents say to other parents? Like, why should anybody join scouting? Why should you get your kids involved with scouting?
It's not about why, it's about just jumping in. I think that the whole thing is get started and you'll find out, because it's just one thing after another it'll just come to you, and talking to the other parents. Once you get involved, it's the support of not just the troop, the kids, it's the parents, and getting together and identifying and finding out, and then you learn and you say, how do I do this? How do we get here? It's like being in school or something. It's just so much more, I can't find the word for it, family. It's family driven still.
Yeah, for me, you don't get the opportunities in regular life that you can get with Scouts.
Yeah.
I remember my son got to go to this printing press and see the back end of everything. That's not something a person, if you're not in Scouts, is going to get the opportunity. Or she, in Girl Scouts, she went in the back of the grocery stores and saw the whole production behind the scenes. Again, it's not something you're going to get. And then all the other parts of it, leadership and learning things that you didn't know you could do on yourself. You're not going to get exposed to it without having those opportunities. And it's hard to get that at school or, just at home. I mean, we don't have that same skill set that other people can offer to the kids. So that's why I like scouting.
The why becomes more powerful later when you realize what your kids are doing.
Well, the program's made to help people grow and to learn. I mean, and
find their passion.
That's what I love about these merit badges is that, I don't know how to do this, but this looks like it could be fun. Like, I remember getting my scout book and then going all the way to the back with the list of all the merit badges and then putting this little bubble to the ones that I wanted to do. And it's fun now looking back at all those bubbles and seeing which ones I actually did do. And I think that's something so amazing. It's just
you see the energy in these kids, your kid and other kids, and you just want that energy to keep flowing. And so as parents, we all support, and keep that energy going. There's no, you don't really want, there's no. There's just like, what can we do?
What I just thought of? One of the amazing merit badges on here is called, I don't actually have it. I was working on it, but I was able to fly a plane.
Oh yeah, that was pretty cool.
It was aviation merit badge. I never had an interest in aviation, never thought about it, but I could fly a plane. Sorry?
Yes, she actually got to be in the pilot seat.
That was amazing. That was so fun.
They rotate, I remember that.
To be up so high in the sky and have your hands on the steering wheel and just having the headsets too. That was such a really cool, immersive experience. Like, it made me think maybe I should learn how to fly a plane.
Yeah, that's, I said, it's, things you won't get just going through life. That's what I like about it.
There are so many opportunities. So many. It's unlimited.
Well, thank you. I believe that too. I drinking the Kool-Aid all the time, of course, and it's great to hear from you folks. What you got out of it, and to see you have this great experience, and obviously have achieved so much. So congratulations to you on that, on the scholarship, of course, and getting your Eagle Scout, and welcome to the club, as we like to say. That's awesome, and really, really, we're all proud of you. Everybody is, of course, and thank you guys so much for being here and just sharing your story, as I like to say, your scouting expedition.
Yeah.
And it's really fun. I love getting to hear everybody's story is unique. It's like the choices you got to make out of all the merit badges and whatnot. And it's great to hear that you found some passions and things you enjoyed and loved and great memories. And so that's really, really awesome to hear.
I'm very happy to share.
Awesome. Well, thanks for joining us, guys. And can't wait to see what happens next with you.
Yes, definitely.